I always believed my marriage was perfect. I spent my life driving endless miles on the highway, and every time I came home, my wife's smile made all the struggles worth it. I thought no one could ever love me the way she did. But one night, everything changed. That night, my wife revealed a truth that shook the last 20 years of my life. I have faced storms, deadly accidents, and nights where the road almost took my life, but nothing ever hit me as hard as those words from her mouth. In that moment, I did not know whether to hold her close or walk away forever. My name is Robert Thompson. I am a truck driver based out of Missouri, and I have been on the road for over 15 years now. I have hauled everything from groceries to heavy equipment across just about every state in this country. I have seen a lot out here, and I thought I had experienced just about everything the road could throw at me. But I was wrong. What happened a few months back still makes my stomach turn when I think about it. It started like any other long haul. I had picked up a load in Texas, and I was headed north toward Illinois. The route had me running a stretch of highway in Arkansas, a road I knew well. It was night, the kind of night where the sky is heavy, no stars visible, and you feel like the darkness is pressing in on the windshield. The road was quiet, hardly any cars, just the sound of my engine and the occasional rattle of the trailer. I pulled into a rest area around midnight. I needed to stretch my legs, grab a coffee from the vending machine, and just shake off the fatigue. Truck driving can wear you down if you do not stop every so often. I parked the rig, climbed down, and headed toward the little building. That is when I noticed him. There was a man leaning against a silver sedan, parked a few spaces down. He looked rough around the edges. Tall, skinny, with messy hair and a worn-out leather jacket. He had this look in his eyes that immediately made me uncomfortable, like he already knew something about me before I even walked up. When I came out of the building with my coffee, he spoke up. "Robert Thompson?" I froze. Out on the road, strangers usually do not know your name unless they have seen it on your truck or paperwork. But my truck does not have my name painted on it, only the company logo. I turned to him slowly and said, "Yeah. Who's asking?" He gave a half-smile, one of those that does not reach the eyes. "You do not know me, but I know your wife." That sentence hit me like a punch. My wife's name is Laura. We have been married for 10 years. She stays home, takes care of the house, and waits for me while I am out hauling freight. Hearing this stranger bring her up in the middle of the night on a dark highway made my skin crawl. I squared up and asked, "What are you talking about? Who are you?" He pushed off the car and stepped closer, his boots crunching on the gravel. "Name is Daniel. A long time ago, Laura was not your wife. She was my girlfriend." The way he said it was not casual, it was sharp, almost like he wanted to cut me with those words. My hands tightened around the coffee cup. I felt my jaw clench. I tried to keep my voice steady. "So what? People have past relationships. That does not matter now. She married me." Daniel shook his head slowly. "No, you do not get it. You do not know everything about her. I was there before you. I know what she did, what she said, the kind of person she really is." I felt my chest tighten. Part of me wanted to walk away, get back in my truck, and forget this guy ever existed. But another part of me, the part that could not stand the thought of someone talking like that about Laura, kept me rooted in place. I said, "You better explain yourself before I lose my patience." He smirked again. "All right, I will tell you. You think she is this perfect wife, waiting for you at home. You think she spends her days cooking and worrying about you while you are out here on the road. But I remember the nights she used to sneak out of her parents' house just to meet me. I remember the lies she told them to cover it up. I remember the way she promised me forever, and then threw it all away when she found someone she thought was better. My chest burned, hearing him talk like that. The image he was painting of Laura did not match the woman I knew. She is kind, patient, and loyal. But his words cut deep because they had a ring of truth to them. Everyone has a past. I had mine and Laura had hers. But hearing it from the mouth of the man she used to love was something else entirely. Daniel kept going, like he could see I was rattled. She told me she would never leave. She told me I was the only one she could see herself with. Then she met you. Suddenly, all those promises disappeared. She packed it up, left me standing there, and never looked back. You think you won, but you are just living with the scraps of someone else's story. I wanted to hit him. I wanted to shut him up right there in that parking lot. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the way his eyes flickered, like he was half crazy. Or maybe it was the nagging thought that there might be pieces of Laura's past she had never told me. I swallowed hard and said, "People change. She chose me. That is all that matters." He stepped even closer, his voice low now. "You do not know the whole story, Robert. There are things she did that you would not believe. Things that would make you question every word she ever told you." My hands were shaking now. I hated the way he was getting in my head. I hated that he was planting seeds of doubt. But I could not stop listening. Daniel leaned back finally, almost like he had said enough for the moment. "I am not here to fight you. I am here to tell you the truth. You want to know who your wife really is? Then you better be ready for what I have to say next." I stood there in the dim light of that rest area, the hum of my truck in the background, my heart pounding like I had just run a mile. I wanted to walk away, but I knew I could not. He had me hooked, whether I liked it or not. That night on the highway was only the beginning. What Daniel told me next would shake the foundation of everything I thought I knew about my marriage. He stood there in that rest stop, arms crossed, eyes locked on me like he was studying my every move. I had told myself to ignore him, to just climb back into my truck and drive off, but I could not. Something in his voice had me pinned in place. Daniel took a slow breath, then leaned a little closer. "You do not believe me, do you, Robert? You think I am just some crazy man talking nonsense on the side of a highway. But I know Laura better than you think." I clenched my fists, trying to steady my breathing. "Anybody can claim something like that. You need more than words to make me believe you." That smirk returned to his face. He reached into the pocket of his leather jacket and pulled out his phone. He tapped the screen a few times, then turned it toward me. There it was. A photo. Laura. Younger, maybe in her early 20s. Her hair was longer, wild and free. She was standing next to Daniel, her arm hooked through his. Both of them were laughing, faces close like they belonged together. It felt like a punch right to the gut. I stared at the screen, my chest tightening. "Where did you get that?" I asked, my voice rough. "This is mine," Daniel replied calmly. "Taken years ago, before you even knew she existed. That night we were at Miller's Park. She loved that place. You know why? Because of the lake there. She would always say she wanted to sit by that water for hours, sketching birds in her little notebook. That was her hobby back then, sketching. Do you know that about her, Robert?" I froze. Laura had never once mentioned drawing to me. Not once in 10 years of marriage. I felt the blood drain from my face. Daniel's smile widened when he saw my reaction. "You see, I am not lying. I know her better than you think." I tried to shake it off. "So what? People change. She could have had hobbies back then that she does not have now," but he was not finished. He leaned even closer, his voice dropping lower. "You want real proof? Something only a man who has been with her would know." My throat tightened. "What are you talking about?" Daniel's eyes glinted. "She has a birthmark, a small dark spot, right on the side of her hip. The left one. Most people will never see it. But I did. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. That mark, I had seen it. I knew exactly what he was talking about. It was something I had thought only I was aware of. Laura never talked about it. She was shy about it, and now this man was standing here on a dark highway, telling me about it without hesitation. I took a step back, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it might break my ribs. "How the hell do you know that?" I demanded. Daniel just shrugged, like it was the simplest thing in the world. "Because I was there before you. You think you are the only one who knows her secrets? You are not." My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped the coffee cup I was still holding. I wanted to scream, to push him away, to deny everything he was saying. But deep down, I knew he had just proven his point. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to ask, "What happened? If you two were so close, why are you standing here talking to me instead of still being with her?" For the first time that night, his expression shifted. The smirk faded, his jaw tightened. "Because she left me. That is why. One day we were planning a future together, and the next, she was gone. No explanation, no goodbye. She just stopped answering my calls. Stopped showing up. I found out weeks later she had moved on. With you." He spat the last words like venom. I could feel the anger radiating off him now. His hands balled into fists at his sides. He took a step back. Then another, pacing like he was trying to control himself. "You do not know what that felt like. To be thrown away. To be replaced. She promised me forever, Robert. And then she tossed me aside like trash." My stomach twisted. Part of me wanted to defend Laura, to tell him that whatever had happened back then was in the past. But another part of me could not ignore the rage in his voice. The man was hurt, and hurt people can be dangerous. I forced my words out carefully. "I did not steal her from you. She made her choice. People move on." Daniel stopped pacing and looked right at me. His eyes were dark, filled with something I could not quite name. Not just anger, not just pain, something else, something colder. "You are right," he said slowly. "People move on. But I never forgot, and I never forgave." My blood ran cold. He slipped his phone back into his pocket and straightened up. His voice calm again, almost too calm. "The question now is, what do you think I want from you, Robert?" I stared at him, heart pounding, every nerve in my body on edge. I did not know if he was about to walk away, or if he had something far darker in mind. And that uncertainty was worse than anything he had told me so far. Daniel stood there in the pale yellow glow of the rest stoplights, his eyes steady, like he had been carrying this weight for years. I could feel the tension rolling off him. I kept waiting for him to lash out, to explode, but instead he just spoke, low and steady. "I do not want your money, Robert. I do not want your truck. I do not even want your life. What I want is simple. I want you to go home, sit across from your wife, and ask her one question." I narrowed my eyes. "And what question is that?" His face hardened. "Ask her why she left me. Ask her why she threw me away after everything we shared. I gave her everything. I gave her my time, my trust, my heart. She gave herself to me. And then, just like that, she was gone. She became yours. You think you know her, but you do not. I need to know the truth from her lips. I need to know why she left me when she had already given herself to me completely." His words sank into me like ice water. He was not threatening me with violence. He was not here to rob me. He was here for closure. Twisted, painful closure. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "So you want me to go home, dig up the past, and make her explain to you why it ended?" Daniel nodded once, sharp and deliberate. "Yes, you will ask her. And then you will come back and tell me. That is the only way I will have peace. Otherwise, I will not stop. You will keep seeing me. You will keep hearing from me. And I do not think you want that." The way he said it made my skin crawl. He was not screaming, he was not violent. But the calmness in his voice was worse than if he had pulled a knife. I left that night shaken, My drive north felt like it lasted forever. Every mile I replayed his words in my head. By the time I pulled into my driveway, the sun was already coming up. Laura was in the kitchen when I walked in. She smiled, surprised to see me home earlier than planned. "Robert, you are back. Is everything all right?" I did not answer at first. I just looked at her. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of trust. And yet the man on the highway had carved doubt into my mind like a blade. Finally, I sat down at the table. "Laura, I need to ask you something, and I need the truth. No excuses." Her smile faltered. She set the dish towel down slowly, her eyes narrowing. "What is going on?" I swallowed hard. "Daniel, I met him on the road. He told me everything. The photos, the stories, the details. I need you to tell me why. Why did you leave him? Why did you walk away when you were so close to him?" For a moment, Laura just stood there, frozen. Then her shoulders slumped. She lowered herself into the chair across from me, her hands trembling. Her face turned pale, and I saw something I had never seen in her before: shame. Her voice cracked when she finally spoke. "Robert, I was young. I was reckless. I made mistakes. I thought I was in love with him, but it was not real. It was infatuation. He made me feel wanted, and I gave in. But over time, I saw who he really was. Controlling, jealous, angry. I knew if I stayed with him, he would break me. So I left." I felt my chest tighten. "And you never told me." "Not once." Tears welled in her eyes. "Because I was ashamed. I did not want you to see me as damaged. I wanted to start fresh with you. You treated me with respect. You gave me stability. You gave me the kind of love he never could. That is why I never looked back." Her words hung heavy between us. I believed her, but part of me still could not shake the image of Daniel standing under those rest stop lights, eyes burning with old wounds. I leaned back in my chair, my mind racing. I finally understood why she had left him, but now came the harder part, because I still had to face Daniel again. And I had no idea what he would do when I gave him her answer. I did not sleep much that night. Even though Laura had given me her explanation, her words kept circling in my head. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. But the image of Daniel standing there on the side of that highway haunted me. His eyes, his voice, the way he said he would not stop until he had his answer. By the next evening, I knew what I had to do. I had to face him again. I called the number he had slipped to me before I left the rest area. He answered on the first ring, like he had been waiting. His voice was calm. "So, Robert, did you do what I asked?" I swallowed hard. "I talked to her. She told me why she left." There was a pause. Then he said, "Meet me." Same highway, same rest stop. When I pulled in that night, the silver sedan was already there. Daniel was leaning against it, arms crossed, looking like he had not moved since the last time I saw him. I climbed out of my truck, my boots crunching on the gravel. My hands were sweating even though the night air was cool. I walked over slowly, every step heavier than the last. He straightened as I approached. "Well, what did she say?" I took a breath. "She said she left you because you did not trust her. She said you were always suspicious, always accusing her of things you did not do. She said you smothered her until she could not take it anymore." Daniel's face twitched, just for a second. Then he let out a laugh, short and sharp. "Suspicious? Is that what she told you?" I frowned. "Yes, that is what she said." His eyes darkened and his voice dropped low. "And why do you think I was suspicious, Robert? Why do you think—" I questioned her. "Because one night, when she was supposed to be with me, I found out she had been with someone else. Not just a friend, a man. I saw it with my own eyes. I caught her kissing him, late at night, like I never existed. Do you think I was crazy for asking her where she had been? Do you think I was wrong to demand the truth after that?" My stomach twisted. The air felt heavier around me. She never told me that, I muttered. Daniel stepped closer, his eyes burning into mine. Of course she did not. She wanted you to think she was perfect, but I know what I saw. I know she was unfaithful to me back then. She betrayed me once. If she could do it to me, she can do it to you. The words slammed into me like a truck hitting a wall. My throat went dry. My chest felt tight. Daniel did not stop. He leaned in, his voice cutting like a blade. She was unfaithful before, Robert. Remember that. If she could betray me, she can betray you. She is not as loyal as you think. You better keep your eyes open, because if history repeats itself, you will be the one standing here, broken, wondering why you never saw it coming. I felt my knees weaken. My whole body shook. I wanted to shout, to tell him he was lying, to deny every word, but I could not. The seed of doubt had been planted deep inside me, and no matter how much I tried to fight it, I felt it taking root. I turned away from him, my heart pounding so hard, I thought it might burst. I could hear him behind me, his voice echoing in the night. Think about it, Robert. Think about who she really is. I climbed back into my truck, slammed the door, shut, and gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. My mind was spinning. Laura's face flashed in my head. Her words. His words. The truth was tangled, and I did not know who to believe anymore. And for the first time in my marriage, I was afraid. I drove the rest of that night with Daniel's words replaying in my head like a broken record. Every mile marker, every set of headlights that passed me, every dark stretch of highway, all I could hear was his voice. She betrayed me once. She can betray you too. It did not matter how loud I turned up the radio, or how many times I told myself he was just bitter. His voice was in my head, poisoning me. By the time I pulled into my own driveway, the sun was climbing over the trees, painting the sky orange. But the sight that greeted me stopped me cold. Parked in front of my house was a car I did not recognize. A black SUV, clean and polished. And standing at the door, laughing softly, was a man I had never seen before. He was tall, well-dressed, with his hair slicked back. Laura was there, standing too close, her hand brushing his arm as they spoke. My chest tightened. My grip on the steering wheel turned painful. In that instant, Daniel's words came roaring back into my head. Louder than ever. She was unfaithful before. Robert, remember that. If she could betray me, she can betray you. The world around me blurred. I had spent my life on the road, pushing through storms, sleepless nights, icy highways. I had sacrificed holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, all for her, all for our home, all so she would never feel like she was alone. And now, standing in front of my own house, I saw her with another man. My stomach twisted so hard I thought I might throw up. My heart pounded in my ears, drowning out every other sound. I sat there in the cab of my truck, engine idling, watching, waiting. I wanted to believe it was innocent. Maybe he was a neighbor. Maybe he was just delivering something. But the way she smiled at him, the way she touched his arm, the way her eyes softened, it was too familiar, too intimate. Minutes dragged by like hours. My hands shook on the wheel. My throat burned. I kept asking myself, was Daniel right? Has she been lying to me all this time? Finally, the man turned, said something I could not hear, and walked back to his SUV. He climbed in and drove away, his taillights disappearing down the street. I sat there a moment longer, my mind screaming, my chest about to explode. Then I killed the engine, opened the door, and climbed down. My boots hit the pavement heavier than they ever had before. When I stepped into the house, Laura looked up at me, startled. She must not have expected me to be home so soon. "Robert," she said softly, "you are back." I was not. I cut her off. my voice shaking but loud. Was my love not enough, Laura? Was I not enough? Tell me. I spent my life behind the wheel, breaking my back to make sure you never had to worry about a roof over your head or food on the table. I gave you everything I had, and this is what I get. A stranger in my house, laughing with you like he belongs here. Her eyes widened. It is not what you think. Please, let me explain. I slammed my hand against the table, the sound echoing through the kitchen. Explain. Daniel told me everything. He told me how you left him, because you could not handle his questions. He told me how you betrayed him, and now I come home and see you with another man at our door. Do you know what that does to me, Laura? Do you know what kind of hell you are putting me through? Tears filled her eyes. She shook her head desperately. Robert, please. That man was from the insurance company. He came to drop off papers for the claim we filed after the storm damaged the roof. That is all it was. I swear to you, but my heart would not calm down. Daniel's voice drowned out hers. She betrayed me once. She can betray you too. I looked at her, my vision blurring with anger and hurt. Maybe it was the insurance man today. Maybe it was Daniel years ago. Maybe it is someone else tomorrow. All I know is I cannot shake the feeling that I have been nothing but a fool. I have been out there on the road, wearing myself down mile after mile, while you stand here making me question if my love ever meant anything to you. Her tears spilled over, running down her face. Robert, do not say that. You mean everything to me. You always have. I made mistakes in my past, but I chose you. I married you. I built this life with you. Please do not let him poison what we have. But her words, no matter how desperate, could not quiet the storm inside me. Not after what I saw. Not after what Daniel planted in my head. I stood there, shaking, caught between the woman I loved and the doubts that were eating me alive. For the first time in my marriage, I did not know if I could believe her. And that was the scariest part of all. Not the highways at night, not the storms, not the accidents I had seen over the years. The scariest part was believing that the woman I loved could have betrayed me. I sat in my living room that night, my hands shaking, my mind running wild with every word Daniel had thrown at me. The image of that man walking out of my house kept replaying like a cruel movie I could not turn off. But then, my wife came to me. She sat down, her face pale, her hands trembling, and with tears in her eyes, she said the words that changed everything. Robert, he lied. All of it. Daniel wanted revenge. He told you things that were never true. Yes, I was with him once. Yes, I made mistakes when I was young, but I never betrayed you. Not when I met you, not when I married you, not now. That man you saw leaving, Daniel sent him. He told me if I did not do what he asked, he would send you the old photos, the private ones from my past with him. He used those memories to blackmail me. My chest felt heavy, but this time it was not with doubt. It was with rage. Rage that a man I barely knew had been pulling the strings of my marriage, trying to destroy it piece by piece. I looked her in the eyes, and I saw the truth. I saw the fear. The shame, but also the honesty. You never cheated me? I asked, almost whispering. She shook her head hard, crying. Never. I swear on everything. He wanted to twist my past into a weapon against us. But I never let him win, Robert. Please believe me, and I did. In that moment, I believed her. Every mile I had driven, every sacrifice I had made on the road, it was all for her. And I was not about to let Daniel tear that apart. The next morning, we went to the police. We carried the texts, the threats, the proof of what he had done. We told them about the man Daniel had sent, about the lies he had spread, about the photos he used to blackmail her. It did not take long before the police caught him. All his words, all his so-called truths, collapsed under the weight of the evidence. Daniel's revenge ended in handcuffs. That night when I came home, I looked at my wife differently. Not with doubt, but with gratitude. She was still here. She was still mine. I put my arms around her and whispered, "You never have to be afraid of your past again. It does not define you. What matters is now. What matters is us." She broke down crying, but this time they were tears of relief. And for the first time in weeks, maybe months, I felt peace. I had faced storms on the highway, nights where I thought I would not make it to the next town, but nothing compared to the storm Daniel tried to bring into my home. And yet, we survived it, together, and as I held her close, I realized, love is not about never making mistakes. Love is about fighting through the lies, the pain, and the fear, and still standing side by side at the end of it all. If this story shook you the way it shook me, then do not just leave quietly. Hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss the next story from the road. Your support keeps these real experiences alive.